Hello, welcome to Barbershop Talk. My name is Philip Jones.
And my name is Tafaro Cook, two-time kidney transplant recipient and founder of Kidney Care Coaches, where we coach people with stage 3 to stage 5 kidney disease. If you or you know someone who has kidney disease challenges, hit us up at kidneycarecoaches.com.
So today we're going to be talking about the top five uh, men's health concerns. And then so we'll, we'll start off with heart disease. So according to the American Health Association, factors for health for heart disease, increasing age, male sex, and race. Folks with so do African American, Mexican Americans, Native Americans, Native Hawaiians, some Asian Americans. Smoking, high blood cholesterol, high blood pressure, physical inactivity, obesity and overweight, and diabetes. Uh, some things such as your age and sex obviously cannot be controlled, but modifying lifestyle to eat right and exercise can reduce your risk of health disease. What's your take on that, Mr. Cook?
Heart, yeah, heart disease. Yeah, that's really important, man. It's true, especially as we get up there in age. We have to control the things we have to control. And one thing we can always control is our eating and our exercise. And again, those are two big proponents that will increase your percentage of not getting heart disease. Also, smoking. That's another one you can control also because once if you stop smoking, your chances of getting heart disease drop. So therefore, some of the things, like you said, we can't control, but the majority of things, we can't control our faith, our race, I'm sorry, and we can't control our family history. But those other three things I talked about, we definitely can control. So, and honestly, high blood pressure. So by you exercising, by you um, eating correctly, and doing all the things you have to do as far as going to the doctor, taking your medications, you should be able to control your high blood pressure as well too. So when you look at those things, Phil, there's a number of things you can control. So yeah, I
Right.
agree. But
And
another one we're gonna
and
talk.
you know, we're
Go ahead.
not saying that if you do these things, you're not prone to getting heart disease at all. Period. I have heart problems and I eat pretty good, pretty active, don't smoke or anything like that. So it's not saying that you won't, but it's positioned to not have to deal with it.
Right, right. I agree. The second one we're gonna talk about is stroke. Okay, and I'm just gonna read you a little bit. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. I just lost where I was.
You can read that section. It's not as long as the other one
I
if
know
you want.
yeah, where I had it at. Hold on. Let me get it back. Yeah, you're right. I just apologize. I just lost it. Stroke, okay. Stroke is the third leading killer in the country after heart disease and all forms of cancer. The insidious rate of stroke is 1.2 times greater in men than in women. Incidence, sorry. Although there is really no difference between the sexes as people get older, according to the American Stroke Association. We know that a very important risk factor for stroke is hypertension. We talked about that. The control of hypertension is crucial factor to try to prevent the onset stroke. So let's talk about some risk factors of stroke. Increasing age, that's one risk factor that we can always consider as stroke. As you get older, things change in the body. Race, African Americans have the greater risk than whites when it comes to stroke. So that's very, very important. Gender, stroke is more common in men than in women until the age of 75. Then it gets regular again. And I do remember that. Personal history of stroke are transistant ischemia, ischemia attacks. That's very, very important also. Those are what we consider mini strokes. Because a lot of times some people have mini strokes. I've seen people go to the doctor and they've had many strokes and didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Just like they had a heart attack and not even know it. So those things are very, very important also. Um, Diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, smoking, including secondhand smoke. That's another. Physical inactivity, obesity, alcohol and substance abuse. All these can create a, how should I put it, a area where you can cause stroke, especially if you're doing a couple of these things, Phil. You know what I'm saying? If you're smoking and you're out here drinking and you live in a sedentary lifestyle, you are making a good environment for a stroke to happen. Because, you know, if you're eating wrong, you got high blood pressure, and you're smoking, you're having kicking in, doing all these things and not taking care of your health, you're creating I should call it an environment that can cause these things to happen. What's your thoughts, Phil?
Agree. And one thing I want to say is that I know a lot of these things we're repeating ourselves, but that just shows you that taking food nutrition wise and the way that you're active, whether it's walking around the block 4 or 5 times, lifting small weights or heavy weights, however you feel comfortable lifting in the gym, or if you have your own set at home, how that can just keep you out of the woods in a lot of situations. Those are one of the number ones and two things that can keep you out of health situations is just the way you eat and the way that you're, physically active. So, don't think this we're just repeating ourselves just to repeat ourselves, but it's important facts that you need to know for these specific that you may find yourselves in. You may already be dealing with with heart problems. Let's sit down and figure out, what you've been eating. Are you active? Smoke, those types of things like that. It's all about going down the list of things that they list here. Do you do these things or not? So, don't take it as we just, like I said, repeating ourselves just to repeat ourselves is the reason to it.
I agree with you, Phil. That's why when you like, just like what Phil said, by taking care of certain things, you prevent so much. That's basically what Phil is saying right there. Like, if
Right.
you take care of these things and handle them, you prevent so many things. It just goes to show by being disciplined in a couple areas of your life, you prevent so much. And that's basically, yeah, that's what we're talking about here. So just being disciplined in certain areas of life. We're not telling you, like, again, like Phil said, we're not telling you to be a prune or anything like that, but we're telling you there's certain disciplines you're going to have to adopt in life if you plan on being healthy, if you plan on having a long, prosperous lifestyle where you're still able to do all the things you want to do. Unless you want to have a lifestyle where you're, hey, I can't walk this far, I can't do certain things. That's what you're going to get. But you're right, Phil. Go ahead with the next one.
So the next one is suicide and depression, which is very important. It's something that we're going to touch on in the
Yeah.
conference very soon. But it says men are four
Hmm.
times more likely to commit suicide compared to women, which attributes part of the blame on underdiagnosed depression in men. William Pollack,
Hmm.
PhD, assistant clinical professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, agrees men are more prone to suicide because they're likely to openly show depression and have somebody
Hmm.
recognize it early enough to treat it or to have themselves recognize they're in trouble. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, more than 6 million men have depression. Pollack believes the number of males with depression could be even greater since men may show signs of depression are different from many women. So instead of sadness, Pollack says depression falling ways in men: anger, depression, aggression, work burnout, So you just like working nonstop, just to be at work working overtime, and you're not coming home getting your rest, rejuvenating things of that nature. Risk taking behavior, midlife crisis, alcohol and substance abuse kind of go hand in hand with each other because the alcohol can come in the time of midlife crisis. You just kind of, you don't care anymore. You go to alcohol and substance abuse, and you feel like you drink your problems away, and that's not safe at all.
Right.
Society around the men and the men themselves see the male symptoms of depression as just being a guy or having a hard time. The problem is that they are signs of depression, and they're getting bad enough. Then many of these men are starting to form that life isn't worth living. To help men with depression and to reduce the risk of suicide, doctors, loved ones, and men themselves need to recognize that society to ignore pain can work against men. Looking the other way may trigger depression and thoughts of suicide. Think about
That's
that, Mr.
big,
Gov.
man. Man, I think it's huge. And when I say that, it's really big. And at the age I'm at right now, I'm in my 50. I'm in my early 50s. I totally agree with you on that because I see, I've had friends who had midlife crisis, and it acts out just like an aggression, just like you just said, anger. You know, they also men have this macho attitude where to the point where we just shrug things off. So how we handle things is by substance abuse, smoking, drinking, sometimes fornicating, all types of things, risky sexual behaviors, all these type of things. Because unlike women, men hold things in. Women will go talk to their girlfriends in a minute. Girl, I'm not feeling good. This. Just having that outlet where you can talk to somebody, that goes a big way because you can let things off your chest. You can feel if somebody. But with men, our attitude is, hey, we got to be strong all the time. So therefore, we don't have any outlets. We're not gonna sit there and tell my and I keep it real. I'm not gonna sit there and tell my boy, yo, man, I ain't feeling like this. I'm feeling like that. I might tell a friend that I can confide in or something like that, but the majority of men aren't gonna say anything, and we're just gonna go straight down in the dumps because we're taught to be strong no matter what. Oh, it's just a guy thing. You be all right. Take this drink, smoke this. You be okay. And that's what I see.
Right, right. And it's
Right.
funny because
So
I remember when we had this conversation not too long ago, and you brought up the situation about never seeing a dude just call up his homie like man or like ain't no dude ever do that in life. Like we just don't have that. We don't have that luxury to be able to make and talk to like I mean it's just we don't and but it's also putting us in a bad situation as well. Men need to know it's okay, you know, to be emotional sometimes. Like sometimes certain situations, death of a family member, things of that nature, you got to be strong for your family. I get that, but certain times, man, when you need to get things off your chest, you just got to get it off your chest. You tell who you need to tell to get through it. You don't, want to hold that stuff in because all it does is build up. It just builds up and builds
that's
up
right,
until one day you just break. So it's not that important to hold all that stuff in, man. Let it go.
man. You hit it on the head. That's funny when we were talking like that, having that conversation, and that's just like you just said. That's the prime example of a man. But like you said, we've all had. If you ever been in a relationship, we all have had our heart broken. It's nothing to be ashamed of, anything like that. But again, I've seen guys have their heart breaking. You could tell that they act out in a certain way. Yeah,
Hmm.
whether it's mad, all kinds of ways. So, and can be definitely, a form of depression. So I'm gonna read this next one. Lung cancer is the leading cancer killer of both men and women, claiming more lives than prostate, colon, and breast cancer combined. In men, there are expected there are expected to be about 213,880 new cases of lung cancer and some 160,390 lung cancer deaths. Damn, this year, that's a lot, man. The good
Yeah,
news is that the rate of new cancer cases has been dropping since 1980. Well, that's good. And deaths from the cancer have fallen since the 1990s. That's good to hear. That's because of the drop in the prevalence of the use of tobacco. So people aren't smoking as much as what they're saying. But they're doing a lot of vaping, man. Ooh, vaping is crazy. Products by men
man.
that, yeah, tobacco products by men that followed the Surgeon General's report in the 1964 explains, besides smoking, the ASC lists the following as risk factors for lung cancer: exposure to secondhand smoke, exposure to asbestos and radon, personal history, air pollution. Tobacco products are responsible for 30% of lung cancer, which puts the weight of prevention efforts on smoking cessations. If you are thinking about kicking the habit, censor. Hold on, man, my phone is acting up. Let me move on. If you are thinking about kicking the habit, Censor recommends the following resources: American Cancer Society, National Cancer Institute, Smoking Quit Line. According, man, my phone keeps on jumping to things. I don't know what's going on, but I just lost it. But again, let's talk about smoking, man. Smoking is very critical. Now, I'm not gonna say I don't smoke. I smoke a cigar every now and then. I at least smoke once a month, and I enjoy it. But again, smoking is the lead. Smoking 30% of lung cancer comes from smoking. And another challenge with that is asbestos, radon, and several other things. And secondhand smoke, which is very, very important. Because I've seen people have cancer of the lungs and never smoked a cigarette in their life, but they've been around people who smoke cigarettes and things like that. What's your
90%.
thoughts on that, Phil? Go ahead. I'm getting some feedback. Go ahead. Hello. Hello. Hello.
I think saying tobacco products are responsible for activity. Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear you for a while. Go ahead now. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Let me bring it back. Um, what I was saying, for it to be 90% of tobacco products which are responsible for lung cancer, man, is it's a lot, right? That's a lot. That's tobacco a year, you know. And well, from lung cancer in general, my question is, what causes lung cancer? Um, and it's something that we can control. Just like your nutrition, activity. This is another thing that you control. You have the ability to quit if you want. Then issue, bit by bit. I understand it's hard to just cold turkey and just just stop doing it. You know, but I'm gonna tell you, like Fred Hills, that celebrate small victories. Celebrate those small do. If he made a uh analogy on our ending result at the end. So, man, if you're a smoker, heavy smoker, and you trying to quit, just take it bit by bit. I'm not saying you got to just you know smoke today, don't tomorrow. Take a bit. Eventually, at one point, you get to the point where you don't smoke anymore. But small wins. Uh, Cameras Cook. I went out, I didn't even notice. All right, give it a second. They'll be back in a minute. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just read this last thing here, and then I'll go ahead and jump off. Because Mr. Cook can signal problem. So the last thing is prostate cancer. Cancer found in men is the second leading type of cancer dead in men after lung cancer. There's not enough known about what cancer and how to prevent it. Yet the disease is treatable if it is. This can be a challenge since prostate cancer can show to other parts of the body. This is where bond home. I personally know people who are alive today because they got screened. The American Cancer Society specific antigen blood test and digital rectal exam for healthy men starting at age 50 or older who are at high risk, such as those who had cancer or who were should have been testing earlier. According to this, other risk factors include nationality. The cancer is most common in North America and Northwestern Europe. High fat diet. Men who eat a lot of red meat and high fat dairy products and not fruits and vegetables may have a higher risk. So it says, although older age is a risk cancer, younger men should not be complacent. 30% of prostate cancers occur in men under age 65. The younger a man is, the more aggressive the tumor is, says Stephen F. Center, MD, ACS president. So I'm going to go back again to, what you eat is very important. High five diet, just meats and no fruits and vegetables. You got to incorporate some fruits and vegetables into your daily life. You have to be, eating those green vegetables, those colored vegetables, fruits. That's all that stuff out. All that red meat and stuff that you eat gets flushed out with vegetables and fruits and stuff. Just like I told the people who smoke, takes small steps. If you not don't eat, take it in steps. Eat one fruit, one vegetable a day, and then you'll progress through time. It'll get easier for you to be able to eat those things that you didn't normally eat before. So we'll see you guys on Sunday on the second chance. We'll meet myself and Mr. Cook. If you coming through, if you're watching this live or if you watch this replay, if you have any questions, please drop your questions in the comments. We'll be more than any questions that you have. We appreciate you. We love you.